Hey, guys, and otherwise, this is Jonathan O. Roselion.
And I'm Noah, also known as Polyphonic, and you're listening to Horns and Wings, the podcast where we ostensibly talk about Saga one issue at a time.
I don't remember when we did that last.
No, I don't think we do that anymore. That's what it was in the before times. Now in our apocalyptic hellscape, it's just John and I desperately clinging on to sanity by looking at a more peaceful world.
Let's go back in time together for this one and read some answers.
Yeah, answers to our questions of the week. A lot of questions of the week. So
oh my god, so many. Yeah, we're doing not questions 23 through 30, but episodes 23 through 30, which means that there's a good 14 questions here that we have a good 20 billion answers for. So it's going to be, but you know what, this is the only thing that's going to get me through this right now is just hearing that answers theme music, which, ooh. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I feel rejuvenated.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah, no, I'm brimming with energy, just positively vibrating.
Can I just establish before this that I have felt like such fucking garbage for multiple days now, and you're tired as hell, and this is the end of us.
When I picked up the call, when I called John, I described myself as deliriously tired, and that is proving true. If I start hallucinating in this podcast, it'll make for good content. So,
and here's my problem is I have too much clarity, man. I see the world for what it is.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm deliriously tired.
That's just existence. But luckily things are going to look up with this big first question from episode 23. It's about cheating. Hey, did Marco's near smooch upset you more or less or just as much as Alana's drug use? This is from the Haley episode, and we got into it pretty well on there.
Yeah, I liked, not exactly an answer, but I liked Ryan J. Casas made Kissas.
Kiss ass. It's kiss ass.
Ryan J. Casas. I'm so bad at this, guys.
It has to be Casas.
I'm so sorry. Anyways, they say, who doesn't want to kiss Marco? To which I agree with. That's the right answer to that question. It's very much like the emotional bias, I think, is a factor for a lot of people. And I just saw SPTV, who was on the live stream. Go check that out if you haven't listened to it on the YouTube. But SPTV said, fadeaway is not permanent. Bat person mouth herpes, however, is for life. Marco risking exposing his family to an inconvenient virus with no cure. They call that COVID.
Shit, that's actually very predictive of him.
That's crazy. That's Yeah, I guess it was February when Ben responded that, but yeah.
But we didn't know. We were children then.
We really didn't know. We really didn't know.
We were so stupid back then.
I think this is interesting because I think there's a lot of people who say that the possible kiss has gone too far if you're in an almost kiss. But then I also think I really liked Krista Stevens. I thought that this was a really even-handed answer. Krista said they're both going through some shit, obviously, and it's very interesting to see how they handle it when the shit hits the fan, and how Hazel and the people around them and their circumstances bring them back to reality and focus. We all lose our way in relationships. It happens a lot. It just matters if we can find our way back. I really like that answer. I think that that's a way more balanced answer than kind of looking at one and saying, "Oh, someone did something worse than another," you know?
Oh, that's very consistent with what question 2 was, which is, oh, and also no one wants to know if it's okay to almost kiss someone that isn't your wife for some creepy reason. I don't know.
Bold of you to assume that anyone other than my wife would want to kiss me.
With your face all blurry like that and everything, it's hard to even find the lips. That is canon now, that you are the titular 21 Pilots Blurryface.
And I do care what you think.
We're young, we're hip.
Yeah, we're hip. Quoting an album that came out like 5 years ago.
No. That's what the kids are listening to. We're practically Zoomers.
No, legitimately 5 years ago. Holy shit. 2015.
Yeah, well,
God, remember 2015.
I don't really, dude. I was so fucked up hanging out with all my friends who are heathens back then.
Okay,
So
you should take that slow.
And that is all of the references I can make.
So, John, would you fuck the stock?
I'm the judge. Hey, yes.
Yeah, we knew the answer to that. Once again, I relate with Ryan, who says the stock wouldn't fuck me. Odd Amy politely declines due to her asexuality, but she wishes all of you spider fuckers the best.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now that's open-minded. That is true. That's a true tolerant ally there.
Seems like most people fall on my side of this, which is no, let's not do that.
I don't know. There's a lot of hell yeah, I will. I love Spider-Man, says Thunderwolf. and yeah, there's Sassafras coming in with a no, Antonio S coming in with a no. She's terrifying. I mean, yeah, that's the appeal. Come on. But hey, to each their own.
All right.
Which is, I think that's why that phrase "to each their own" was coined. This is the specific debate. Okay, so Noah, this is what I want to know.
Yeah.
And this is what's driving me up a wall. And I said all this before I actually read the next question, but it's actually a really good question. And this is in reference to issue 25, that confusing ass issue where we couldn't understand who that issue was for. And it turns out it's not specifically for Jacob Geller.
Shame. Well, that's one down, 7 billion to go.
We've eliminated that one off the list. That is the podcast now, is taking each person onto this podcast and explaining to them the entirety of Saga through issue 25.
Yep.
But yeah, we're asking who was for. Caleb, aka Sassafras AU, says BKV and only BKV, which might be the case. I
actually really liked Antonio's point, which Antonio said, Antonio S, or at Elo here, said, I think maybe the initial war recap is just to remind everyone of the importance of the war before introducing the revolution. I think that's interesting. I think that's definitely part of it.
Yeah, through the lens of the revolution is definitely interesting, and also my autobiography.
Oh, and we found who it was for, right?
Did we?
Yeah. Dallas Histudinous Taylor says, well, seeing that this was the first issue I ever picked up after binging the first 4 trades, it really felt like it was for me.
Yeah, no, that is, I bet there's a decent amount of people, because I think it was the volume before that I started picking up single issues, and I get in on the ground floor with a lot of things, and I know a lot of cool stuff like 21 Pilots, so it makes sense that I was into the single issues about 1 volume before everyone else. So everyone else.
Speaking of picking up comics, now that the world is open in my city, I went to the comic book store the other day, and I bought a comic called you might have heard of it. It's called Pretty Deadly.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw a really cool ad for it a few months ago and never got around to buying the comic.
It's a fucking good one.
I'm excited to read it.
Yeah, hey, we should cover that at some point on this comic book podcast.
This is a saga
because
podcast.
we don't talk about saga anymore. That's the rule.
Yeah. So generally, I think the answer for who this issue was for, people don't really know, saga fans, people reading it. But what I think is interesting is, other than issue number 1, what issue would you suggest as a jumping on point? We had a lot of different answers on this one. I liked our friend CJK has.
I'm sorry, who?
Done a fine. I was going to say that CJK has done a fine addition to their name. Their name is now Fuck Peach Racist Spider CJK, red heart, purple heart, yellow heart, black heart, red heart, and then exclamation points.
What exclamation points though? I think you're jumping ahead.
White, red, white, red, white.
There we go. All right, go. What were we talking about? Jumping on point.
Yeah. Yeah. So CJK said, what issue was Goose introduced? Actually, any issue with Goose. If you read one issue with Goose, then you'll want to read them all. And I agree completely.
Just show them.
I completely agree with that.
They don't even need to read. Just show them a picture of Goose. Just that's it. Just describe Goose to someone, and then they will start reading the book. A lot of people obviously are saying that just read it from the fucking beginning.
Yeah,
you idiots.
I liked Ryan Casas. I'm just gonna pronounce it a different way every time. Casas.
It's Barcelona now.
Ryan said, I think it would be silly to jump anywhere other than I'm gonna just retake that. Hi, Haley.
Which, by the way, we got a special request from Haley. She was like, it's nice when you shout me out, but also it just gives me more stuff to edit out. So I really want to take a moment here to shout out Haley, I guess. Haley, you can keep that one in.
Wait, Haley doesn't like being shouted out?
Haley doesn't like being shouted out because we're just giving her more stuff to cut out. To which I responded, just leave it in. I don't care.
She doesn't need to cut out the shout-outs to her. She's going to cut all of this out.
No.
This is all being cut.
Haley, leave it in. I'm just going to hear you do the rest of the podcast. I'm going to shout the name Haley every 20 seconds in the background.
Okay.
It's going to be our watermark for this episode. Okay, go ahead.
I really like Ryan's suggestion of actually just like showing some non-spoiler art from it. And I think that's a phenomenal way to get people into Saga because, I mean, just do any panel on Sextillion, right? Like, you're going to want to know what the fuck is going on there.
That's true. I was trying to think of like what specifically would be non-spoiler. And yeah, Sextillion seems like a good bet, especially since it's early on in the series.
I think the settings.
Yeah.
Heist's lighthouse.
Well, then they're just gonna be like, "That's a lighthouse." Why am I gonna read this for a lighthouse?
The dragon filleting itself. Does that count as a spoiler?
That's the only plot point that matters. That's like the "I am your father" of this series. Yeah, no, this is we got some. Nope, that's it. That's the only good one. I was going to say we got some good recommendations. Then I saw Caleb said issue 54. So, you know what? No. That's the one good one. Thank you to Ryan.
Yep.
And we got question number 3 here, which is, do you think that's how Dragon Anatomy works with the balls and the stabbing? So they're planning to get semen.
What's the context of this one again?
Because they established the plan to get semen was to cut a ball sack of a dragon open. And I feel like that wouldn't work.
Oh, the piss is kept in the balls.
Which, of course, fuck Peach Racist Spider CJK says, I'm not touching that one. Which is correct. That's the right answer.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of not touching that one, issue 26.
Okay.
What are the mechanics of robot fellatio?
I really like, again, fuck peach racist spider. CJK says a really high definition 3D screen, which sure.
Both Dallas Taylor and Odd Amy suggest USB port, or perhaps a UPP, while Thunderwolf, who is a person of class, suggests an HDMI port.
There we go. Get that high res, baby. Which, by the way, you're just not going to explain what UPP stands for?
Oh, yeah, no. Deliriously tired, like I said. Universal penis port. Like your PP. UPP.
We all know what a UPP is.
My theory on this is that it's actually more psychosomatic than physical, and it's a mental connection that they get pleasure from. And it's intimacy, and the intimacy of shoving your face, just mashing your face against your partner's genitals.
Again, I cannot stress enough how fucking funny the image to me is that he's just sliding his dick around on a screen is so fucking good. Also, Caleb said, into the ram hole, my friends.
Yep.
RAM, RAM. Well, there's no other RAM, but the capital letters RAM. Hey, there are people that didn't even answer this question and skipped it as if that's possible. I don't think so. That's the only important question. But what's the other question we got this week?
As of issue number 26, which character do you feel you understand most thoroughly? And we really have a kind of all over the map on this one, right?
Yeah, which is super interesting and shows you how fucking good every character is in terms of being fleshed out. So we have Ryan, which, Ryan, who I thought could have been Casa's, signs this from Ryan Kissass. So I think that has sealed the deal.
I think in another comment response, I probably pronounced Ryan's name Ryan Kissass.
Oh no, we've done that consistently.
Yeah. No, I'm really sorry. Not sorry enough to stop, obviously.
No. But Ryan,
but the most amount of sorry I can be without stopping.
It's sort of like, those people who recognize it's kind of fucked up to eat meat and will never stop eating meat.
Oh yeah, me.
yeah, it's that. You're not getting rid of those chicken tendos.
I had chicken tendies for lunch actually, and they were so good.
I know you so well. I made a nice chicken buffalo. Well, I shredded the chicken. Haley did the rest. A nice chicken buffalo dip I made. It was delicious. I'm mixing it up.
This is the content that they really want to hear.
It is so relevant to Saga.
I actually want to go through all of the people that answered on this, because I think
why I was saying Ryan. This is why we brought up Ryan in the first place. Ryan says, please talk more about the chicken buffalo dip. That is the character I'm most thoroughly invested in.
Yeah. Ryan, I relate with Ryan on this one. Ryan said, always Marco. I admire him, his character, his ability to self-reflect, be honest, loving, loyal, passionate, to acknowledge when he's wrong, ability to stick to his beliefs, swells that conflict with deep-seated anger issues. I agree. I aspire to be Marco. I think Marco is flawed. He's not a paragon, but I think I really understand where he comes from, and I think Marco is just someone that just genuinely wants to do the best he can for his family while doing the least amount of harm he can to the external world.
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows Marco's my fave all the way. Which, what I find interesting is CJK says that they understand Gwendolyn the most.
Yeah.
She's complex, but in a very familiar way to me. And that's something that I realized with this last arc with Gwendolyn is also, because, I'm so endeared to Gwendolyn, but also, she's still, working with the man, and she still sort of got her head up her ass in a few ways, and is very demanding of Sophie, and she's flawed in very understandable ways. But it was, that shows you sort of how biased I am towards Gwendolyn, because I was reading that, I was like, oh yeah, she is pretty significantly shitty in a lot of ways, and she's kind of working directly under the bad guys, but is trying to track down Marco literally for fucking revenge, but I still love her for some reason.
Yeah,
she's great.
Yeah, I disagree with CJK on this one. I mean, I think Gwendolyn's a great character, and I love her as a character. I don't really understand or relate to Gwendolyn. I don't know. She just seems like someone that is not how I would behave in a lot of situations, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. But I think she's a character that I personally don't see much of myself in.
Who she reminds me a lot of members of my family who are in military, for sure.
Yes,
and people that it's very much that, like, disciplined, no fucking around, like, just getting shit done. sort of approach to shit, and a very possibly cloudy idea of who the good person is, and we support our troops.
And but here's one that I really do relate to. Caleb's answer. Would Caleb say?
Caleb say.
Caleb say.
This is our new segment called Caleb Say. Everyone knows the theme music for Caleb Say, which goes like this.
You're actually putting a theme in, aren't you?
Thank you, Haley. I appreciate it, Haley.
Shout out to Haley.
Shout out to Haley, really quick. Such a dick move. It's the only thing keeping me going. I'm sorry, Haley.
It's also like less of a dick move by you, because, like, you guys are married. I've never met Haley in real life.
She's stuck with me. She could resent you so much easier. But Caleb say, and then you say, what Caleb say?
What Caleb say?
There we go. Caleb say, gotta be lying, Cat. You can tell she's just had enough of life and wants to sleep for 5 years straight. Me too, girl. And this is,
this is a mood.
This is March, so we're getting into, this is March 4th.
That's still pre-lockdown.
Yeah.
That's still pre-lockdown.
But you know what? I'd like to think that Caleb at this point then went into a 5-year slumber and fucking, like, just nailed that timing. Really stuck that landing.
I hope so. I hope so. Except I think we have answers from Caleb later.
100%.
So
Caleb's been very active in the community.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of segments of Caleb Say on this episode.
Classic. I remember the time I told Haley, like, oh, we're just doing an answer one. You don't have to add a bunch of music or anything. Antonio, what's Antonio going with as most understood character?
And Antonio says Clara, which I think is an interesting answer that I totally get too. Antonio says she's strict and old-fashioned, and sometimes she doesn't understand her son, but she wants the best for her family, so she accepts all this stuff that comes with it. Yeah,
which that's very again, because we're not necessarily looking for relatable, but just understandable, and I think a lot of people have that type of person in their family.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people it is parents, or parent figures.
This is, I think, a really interesting observation. Dallas Taylor says, I feel like I understand the will pretty well. With the introduction of the brand, a lot of pieces clicked into place in the will's life for me. And that kind of made me realize, like, because we've talked a lot about how much the brand Oh well, I won't get into any because we're still fresh on the brand death. So I'll bring up the stock as another example of this. But just learning about the will through other characters more so than the will because it still keeps that sort of mystique.
Yeah.
But look at the stock, and like we've made plenty of jokes about how much the stock is still in this series, despite dying, 5 issues into it. But like when you look at it not as expanding upon the stock, but expanding upon Will and sort of the mountain of trauma and feelings and anger and all these different things that he's gone through. I feel like it's weird because you do understand so much about the Will, and very little of it is from the Will himself, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's really, really compelling. And that's something we should keep an eye on going forward, seeing how much more we learn about the Will through his interaction and memories of those who knew him closest and most well. That sentence was almost so good, John. I almost had it.
Who knows you most well? So
and then Odd Amy Odd Amy says the great thing is how it's easy to understand all of the characters, but that being said, Oswald Heist, and I agree. I really get Heist. I understand him, I empathize with him. I think that's a great answer by Amy.
Yes. And then Thunderwolf coming in with the Will and Lion Cat, because one is a horny dude and the other calls people's bullshit, which is my Tinder bio. And then we're already on to number 27, issue number 27, question number 1. How does Marco's revelation make you feel? So his realization, like, oh, I'm just gonna murder people now, as of issue 27.
Yep.
How'd that make you feel? Did we talk? I think we covered this in the issue.
We talked a lot about this, and also, we talked a lot about it in the last issue that we did when that arc was resolved, and
right.
He's not gonna be a brutal psychopathic murderer.
As long as Alana's there, otherwise it's fucking open season, baby.
Yeah, I do want to say, I do want to shout out on this answer. Baseify Faceify, said they really liked that Marco was this badass warrior who had chosen to live a life of pacifism. So when he decides to be actively violent again, Baseify Faceify, I'm just gonna keep saying that name because it's so fun. Was pretty bummed because it changed their favorite thing about his character. So Baseify Faceify is probably pretty happy now that you realize Marco's kind of gone back to being the Marco we know. At least we hope. We'll see going forward.
Yeah, I got faith in Marco. CJK coming in with just a crying Sailor Moon gif, which is accurate.
Yeah. Krista Stevens saying it made me feel like he's all of us. Granted, sometimes revelations that we have are not typically that violent or dramatic, but yeah, shitty things happen, and our brain finds fucked up ways to cope with that, and I think that's exactly what he's doing, although disappointing because of how we've gotten to know him. I'm loving Krista's answers. I'm completely on this level of like balanced and nuanced takes on human interaction and emotionality.
Yeah. I like the dick jokes from our people. I like the what was our Caleb say? I already forgot the name of our very popular segment. But no, Chris has had some consistently great ones pretty much every episode. I'm digging it.
Yeah.
And I think that's generally, there's a lot of consensus of like,
yeah,
I was happy at first, but then I realized I was sad. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of really thoughtful comments in this one. Generally, Had Eating Cthulhu Goat says that it felt very similar to the way that you feel when an old friend opens up about some shitty thing that happened a long time ago. You know the person, you love the person, and now it feels like they've just been hurt. Even though you know it happened a long time ago and you could not have helped back then, you feel like there has to be something you could do, but usually there isn't. And Eating Cthulhu Goat said that this kind of emotion was conjured from that scene, and I think that that's really, really interesting and insightful, and I can totally empathize with that.
Yeah, for sure. We got some smarties. We got a few smarties,
and I think that actually that's kind of how Eating Cthulhu Goat's answer is kind of a cool transition into the next question. These were some heavy questions this episode. Do you think it's possible to permanently change a major part of yourself?
I love this question. And not just because I asked it, only partially because I asked it. And I think that we got some very optimistic answers here. A lot of realistic answers too, of just saying like, yeah, it's possible, but it's fucking hard. I think it's the general consensus.
Yeah.
It's this is, and I don't know if we answered this one in the thing.
I don't think we did, but I think we both agree with what people are saying, which is, yeah, you can change yourself. And I think if you believe that you can't change yourself, I don't really know what the point of living is.
But I'm so fucking cool already.
I think right now actually is a good example of this. Right now, it's a moment where we're all kind of realizing, and I'm someone that I thought I was pretty woke on these things, but I'm finding myself confronting inherent biases that I didn't even realize I had and trying to change them.
Right.
And I think that that's a really important thing happening. I cannot finish these thoughts.
You get so close to profoundness. But yeah, no, I actually, yeah, this is something that has become hyper relevant to me, just because, yeah, I've really tried to use my platform a lot more, and but also just in lifestyle stuff. Like, I cannot tell you how many things that I was just like, I cannot imagine myself exercising daily and like and eating nothing but healthy shit, and like the things that I always wanted to change about myself are like being productive generally. At the beginning of this year I was just like a fucking wreck, and then it was like the whole us having the hiatus because I was sick, and viral pneumonia will wake you up a bit. And I was just like, oh yeah, hey, maybe I should try this doing all the things I've been wanting to do thing real quick. And it was actually surprising to me, I think it's about the motivation ultimately. Like, I think if you're just trying to do something because it's like, I think it'll make me cooler, or I want to impress a person, like, I feel like those things don't stick usually. And I think that if you're like, well, I sincerely want to be proud of myself or want to feel better, or like if it's more personal reasons or more empathetic reasons and stuff like that, I think that's what it takes to make a permanent lasting change.
And I think the one more important thing to say on that is it is a process. Change isn't something that happens once. It is a constant process. You're always fighting against parts of you that are learned, parts of you that you don't like. And I think that sometimes you'll be winning that fight and sometimes you'll be losing that fight. But change comes when you just keep fighting regardless of the outcome. I think that that's really important, is that everyone has moments where they'll try to eat healthier for a while and then fall off the wagon.
Yeah.
Or they'll be writing more for a while and then fall off the wagon. But falling out of those habits doesn't mean that you're a lost cause and can't change. It just means it's hard to change and you need to keep devoting yourself to it.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing, is this idea of like, oh, once I get into the habit of it, then it'll be there forever and it will be easy forever. But it's like, usually if it's worth doing, it's fucking hard to do.
Yeah.
And that's been, I honestly think, the biggest factor in my being, especially when it comes to like exercise and health and stuff and productivity. It's not so much like, you know, getting stronger and faster and all this shit. Like, it's mostly just whenever I'm feeling fucking out of it and whenever I'm feeling garbage, it's learning to recognize that sooner and having sort of the clarity to be like, oh hey, I need to like work through this, and spotting it when it happens. And then also just being able to get back on the wagon, because you are inevitably going to get fucking kicked off that thing a lot. And it's just like, just having the motivation, like, or even just being excited to be like, yeah, I had a shitty day, and boy, is it gonna feel fucking good when I get back into it tomorrow. Like, just having that outlook, I feel like, has so much to do with it. But yeah.
And now we can move on to something a little lighter and a little more fun after that one, which is issue 28. What's
How did your parents die?
No.
No? Oh, I thought it was something fun.
What's your favorite good heroic death in media?
Oh, in media. Okay. Which I realize boy, it's just a bunch of fucking spoilers.
Oh yeah. Spoilers for
it's just nothing but fucking spoilers. Oh, you know what? Here, I'm gonna I'm gonna drop some that are just like, you should fucking know these by now. Like, one is Harry Potter's mom.
Yeah, that's not a spoiler.
It's like, yeah, you know that. That's immediate. And also, what was the Theoden from Lord of the Rings. You should know that. I'm gonna say you could spoil 60-year-old books at this point. But that is, you know what? I just rewatched all of those for a video I'm working on. And no joke, I think the Theoden death hit me harder than anything else in this, in this watch through. Again, for some reason, Theoden just fucking worked for me this watch through.
Theoden, I love Theoden. He's one of my favorite characters in the whole thing. He's so good.
Yeah, and I think it's, as a kid, it's like, oh, fucking Aragorn's rad and Legolas is rad, and I like Gimli and stuff. But I think the Theoden is fucking very underrated and has some fantastic moments. And and leading up to that, the I Am No Man is just fucking the peak. It's the best.
Yeah, I've got an answer for this one. That won't piss any of our listeners off, but don't fucking let any Star Wars fans know that I think this. But one of my favorite heroic deaths in all of media is the death of Luke Skywalker. Oh my God, what a beautiful, perfect, heroic sacrifice and a beautiful end to a well-executed character arc.
I feel like that's even, very relevant to a lot of the shit that we talk about with saga and war and stuff like that, and that sort of reaching this true level of pacifism and empathy, where it's just like, that is the ultimate pacifist it's the ultimate sacrifice from a pacifist, and I think that's the way to go out, man. And especially the icing on the cake is the kids telling the legend of Luke Skywalker after that and how his legacy goes on. That's the best. It's so good. And I don't know if there's any other things. Iron Giant.
Yeah, Iron Giant.
SPTV says Iron Giant, the Superman moment. Oh my gosh.
I also think Inglourious Basterds spoiler here, but I don't think
it's 11 years old at this point.
Yeah. Shosanna Dreyfus in Inglourious Basterds, which she has a really tragic death, had eating Cthulhu goat, points out. And anyone who dies trying to take out Nazis, that's a good heroic death.
Okay, I won't say that one. Yeah, there are some good ones. there's some good shit here. What's our second question for this week? How do you get how? Oh, this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the second age.
Yeah, this is our first episode post-pandemic. Yeah.
And it's how are you guys and otherwise doing? And you know what, Noah, how are you doing?
Ups and downs.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Doing good now, recording a podcast. Vaguely conscious, so
You're gonna go on vacation soon. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. I got married. That's nice. I think Dallas Taylor also got married.
Nice.
It seems like a lot of people did pretty well, which I'm glad to hear that people are doing really well. I do really want to highlight and it really sucks for Leia Mitchum, who's Asian American.
Yeah.
And she said that things were pretty stressful during the virus, and that makes sense because people are horrible.
I still don't
and
see people are still
really
like
being racist, which is a problem.
people are still fucking doing that. Where it's like fucking, if anything, be terrified when you see a fucking American.
Yeah,
that is the biggest risk in the fucking world right now. That's who you should discriminate against.
I'm always terrified when I see Americans. Actually, David Bowie had a whole song about this.
Yeah, young Americans.
No. It's called, for those of you that don't know, he literally has a song called I'm Afraid of Americans.
Oh, it's not Suffragette City? He wasn't against women's suffrage.
Yeah. No.
I some positive or more positive stuff, some silver lining stuff. Firespore, who has become more active in the community, which I appreciate, said they get to work from home now, which is a plus. And also, both of their parents had it, but it passed and they were fine. So that's a major plus.
And I think we've got a good Caleb say.
Oh, hold on.
Caleb say.
What Caleb say?
Say. Caleb say probably as well as John's lungs.
Oh gosh, not great. Dude, I went up a bunch of stairs today, and I was not out of breath from it. And it is the biggest fucking improvement I've had in months, and it was a major
good for you,
major peak for me. Yeah, it's a lot of people are feeling lucky to be alive. And a lot of people are grateful for their own situations. And, Odd Amy points out being an introvert, they're not hit as hard, which is relatable.
I don't relate.
I very much relate. I just realized the other day I've reached the point where it's just like it's not even a thought for me. Like I'm fucking. This is life. This is the routine. I'm just inside, and I'll do this until the end of time. And I have gone full.
So for 2 more weeks.
Yep. It's either 2 more weeks
At
or 8
rate.
more years. We haven't narrowed down to those 2. But yeah, no, it's getting a bit easier for me to cope with. But yeah, I'm glad that we are all connected through the magic of podcast. That's keeping us going.
And the last question for that issue was really nice. We asked, "Did you miss?" Well, specifically, you asked, "Did you miss me?"
So it's about me.
But I think it was us.
No, it was about me.
Okay, everyone missed you then. That's fine.
Which everyone did. Except, we got another what Caleb say. Hit me with it.
What Caleb, say.
And then we have the applause sound effect in there too. Thank you for that, Haley. Which is debated starting a podcast called Wings and Horns to replace you. Which is, you know what kind of idiot would come up with that as a title for a podcast? It would never work in a million years.
No. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, issue 29. What happened in this issue that made us ask this question? Is this the Brand's death?
This is the Brand death. Yeah.
Yeah. We asked, why do we read this comic? Thunderwolf gave the best answer, which is to feel something.
Oh man, it is man. I feel too much from this comic is the problem.
Yep. Yeah. I think everyone basically just said because it's really good. And I think to go into that, it's really it's a satisfying place to get some emotional catharsis. I think that's why we like art and why we like stories, because they can help us confront these heavy emotions that we may have been internalizing ourselves. And they can help us have a good cry or have a good I don't know, laugh or something like that too.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we turn to them, and because the heavy, dark stuff makes the good stuff that much better. You got to earn it.
Yeah. Which, you know what has actually made me really appreciate this comic even more is that I finally played through the first The Last of Us recently.
Oh yeah.
And I just sort of hit this thing where I was just like, wow, I don't need this sort of thing anymore, where it's just like it is 99% depressing and emotional and it just is just draining and exhausting, and almost at every point I was just like, I could play. I mean, that's why I hadn't beaten it before, was I was just like, I could be playing Uncharted 4 right now or something like, and I think that there's that's what I love so much about Saga, and it's the only thing I love about Saga, and you could quote me on that. But the fact that it does do with, we talked about it with this last arc, I think it dips a little too dark for me, but it does such a fantastic job of juggling its brighter moments and its amazing reveals with its more emotional stuff. And it really does a good job of keeping you invested. But yeah, I think that's something that I'm learning more as I get older. I think that's sort of, I don't know. I think back to when I was like 14 or 15 and I was like, Seven by David Fincher is the best movie ever made.
Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, it's so fucking gritty, and it's like, it's real life, man. And it's like, but I feel like it's that sort of, you are convincing yourself that you are more of an adult than you actually are, which I think perpetuates throughout a lot of our whole entire lives, like, where it's just like you're convincing yourself you're more of an adult than you actually are. But I think the maturity like really comes from accepting, like, oh, you know what, I'm cool with not being constantly exposed to pure bummers, and like I'm cool with enjoying fucking adventure time, and like I think that's ironically more mature.
Well, the thing with Adventure Time too, and why I love it, is why I love Saga too, because it's able to be ridiculous and wild and fun, but incredibly emotionally poignant and heavy.
Yeah.
And that's why I love Saga. Unless Saga has a sad ending, then and all of this wasn't worth it, then I'm then I'm just gonna
make you
regret
think that would happen. Sincerely, like, yeah, I do think that those highs are so important, because like, because The Last of Us was exhausting for me, but the things that have hit me hardest emotionally have been like fucking Up and and Steven
Yeah.
Universe
Oh,
and
up is a sledgehammer.
like all these
The
there's
ocean at the end of the lane.
oh my god, yeah. No, yeah, it's just like I really think that's galaxy brain maturity right there
Yeah.
is realizing that it doesn't need to be well, I think the thing that kind of embodies it most, I saw again this old Tumblr post from Tom Brevoort, who is a Marvel editor, would answer like hundreds and hundreds of questions on Tumblr, and I remember this one where this kid wrote in. He was like, "Hi, I'm 13, and I don't really care about Captain America anymore, or who's like Iron Man. My favorites are Punisher and Deadpool, and I don't know, maybe Daredevil or something. And the darker heroes. And it was like, and when can we? Do you think we'll ever get Spider-Man finally killing people so that us older fans can like him again?" And Tom Brevoort's response was like, "Well, I'd like to think that at some point you will be a 20-year-old fan and you will again feel closer to how you felt about Spider-Man originally than you do right now."
That is completely accurate.
Yeah, and it's just like, holy shit, that described so many people I've known.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, it's gotta be murder and death to be mature and emotional. It's like, nah, it's just gotta be emotional to be emotional.
Speaking of happy emotional things, I
Yes.
love every single answer to this next question, so I want to read
let's go through
everyone.
these.
What is something you do to cope with bummers?
Yeah.
CJK, this answer sounds delightful. Take a bath with a bath bomb, shave my legs, read a comic, and listen to music.
Nice.
Yep.
That sounds so nice. I should try shaving my legs at some point. I shaved my mustache towards the beginning of the quarantine, like a super close shave, which I haven't done in years. And now I should just shave the rest of me now and just fully commit, because that does sound very sort of therapeutic and clean.
It sounds relaxing in theory, but it sounds like a lot more work than just sitting in the bath.
That's why you do one leg the first day.
And then the next 3 years later.
And leave it like that. Because you realize how much of a pain in the ass it was. But no, baths are the best. Antonio S says, play with my 3-year-old. It's fun. It makes me grateful for everything I have. That's precious. I love it.
That one just melts my heart. I love kids. Kids are delightful. Dallas Taylor, I love to either read a comic or watch a movie with my wife and cat. I hope it's not Saga that you read to cheer yourself up.
It's only issue 29 of Saga.
No, also the issue where Bar dies.
I like to read that with my 3-year-old. It's the issue where Bar dies.
Just be like, you're gonna have to deal with me dying someday. Be ready for it.
This is how I'm going out. No, but that is honestly, like, especially I've realized just the curative powers of, because like I think almost out of laziness, my instinct is generally, especially when I'm feeling shitty, it's like throw on YouTube, throw on Netflix, whatever, just throw on something I can turn my brain off during. But I've realized recently how curative just a good fucking movie is.
Yeah.
Like, even like I was feeling so garbage one day, and I was like feeling so anxious, and I was actually feeling like really nauseous because of how anxious I was, and I just ate some pretzels and watched like Moana and just was like, I'm gonna get lost in this just pleasant world for a bit, gorgeous world for a bit. And I felt fucking great after that. So I cannot stress enough how nice it is just to watch a good fucking movie. Go watch Jurassic Park.
Watching something good, something light, something fun. Firespore said, if it's a fictional bummer, I scream about it to myself or to anyone else that's experienced it with me until I felt my way through it and can move forward. If it's a real life bummer, then no answer. Yeah, nothing. Which is funny.
We should at least endorse, like, feel your emotions too. That's a good way.
Yeah.
Just like, I can't tell you how many times, especially with anxiety and stuff, letting it just fester a bit is the fucking worst and will make you feel even worse.
Screaming into a pillow feels really good.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I've done where, like, I got some garbage news the other day, and it was, like, literally the first time in months that Haley had, like, just left the apartment to go do something. And so I was just, like, alone and got this, like, terrible news. And I just called my mom, and I was like, hey, I'm just going to talk about this shitty thing for a bit. And just was like, this is how I'm feeling about this. And I just like, okay, I feel better now.
That's awesome.
That was it. But alternatively, Thunderwolf has hitting doors. So if you want to do that.
I do that sometimes. I tend not to hit doors. The thing is, doors break really easily, and drywall breaks really easily.
They're hollow.
So tiles don't tend to break. They hurt your hand a lot. Concrete walls are the best. They also hurt your hand a lot. But you really, like...
I like how in this scenario, the ideal situation, don't break a door, break your hand.
Yeah. Or just punch a pillow. If you want to...
Hands can heal. Doors can't heal.
This is the thing, is I think the drive to physical violence is scary and isn't necessarily always a good thing, but I do think if you have energy or anxiety, and sometimes it can help getting that out, but make sure you're not doing it around people, because a lot of the time it really scares people.
Yeah, for sure.
And that can be really, really like hard on people. And also just like, maybe try going for a run or going for a bike ride. Like, that can be, if you still got that kind of pent up, because I totally get like the physical energy when I get pent up sometimes. Going for a bike ride can be a good productive way to channel that. I should listen to my advice. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Also, Odd Amy coming in with bury myself in media that is decidedly not a bummer, and when that doesn't work, go to sleep, which are both very good options.
And Howdy and Cthulhu Goat, I would put this also in media that is decidedly not a bummer. Reread good children's books. That's a great answer. Children's books and children's shows. I love kids stuff.
Hey, everyone, two really good suggestions here, both on HBO Max, because they have all the Cartoon Network stuff on there now. Still watching Steven Universe religiously. Please go check that out. But also, Infinity Train is a 2-season Cartoon Network show that is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And one Kelly Purdue, who did the art for Make Stuff's Suffragettes comic, is a storyboard artist on that show. And she did a lot of the storyboards for it, and she killed it.
That's really cool.
But yeah, go check out Infinity Train. That's a really, really good one. And a super quick watch. They're like 10 episode seasons. It's so good. It's so fun. And then
I want to give my suggestions too.
No,
let me answer the question.
I don't care, Noah.
I like having a bath is always great. I like drinking a beer, and I will say the absolute best lift me up song is You Can't Always Get What You Want by the Rolling Stones, because when you're bummed and you put a happy song on, you don't want a fucking happy song, and You Can't Always Get What You Want starts out as this like really kind of low, mellow, sad song.
Always get
exactly. And then by the end it's this like jump up gospel party. So I think that's music that starts slow or dark and is uplifting is really good for that.
Yeah, good suggestion.
All right,
and then we're on to our final question. Then we'll touch on a couple comments that were worth bringing up. But
I think we should touch on the comments first, and then do the last question, because I think this is a really important positive question that we should leave on that, and then make a poop joke.
Okay. So let's start with SPTV, who pointed out a really good observation, which was, it would have been nice if Yuma had some sort of device that was meant to extinguish fires when she went into the engine room. She could have really used a tool like that when her plant body burst into flames. It's a shame there wasn't one on the ship, which was, something that she had literally just had in her hands.
That she knocked Goose out with. Yeah, there's definitely that's irony.
Plot holes, fucking objectively bad. Thank you for that observation, SPTV. I want to get back to the age where plot holes were just like a fun observation that people would have, and not some kind of objective proof of supremacy. Wasn't that nice?
I want to get back to the age where any opinion on any piece of fiction wasn't automatically a volley in the culture war.
And then what did Odd Amy point out for this? Because I enjoy this.
Odd Amy said, that chopped in half planet as foreshadowing observation sent me reeling. This is why I love this freaking podcast. We love you, Odd Amy. And
that was a fucking mind blow.
That floored me. I didn't even realize that one. Yeah, that just completely floored me.
We've had some good observations in this arc for sure.
It's glad that it turns out this is a comic that does reward close reading.
For real. It's a good thing that we didn't consider that remotely before we started it.
Yeah.
We were like, let's do something purely unsustainable. But luckily, we have never once stopped talking about Saga and has remained enthralling the entire time. And then, but yeah, no, I also loved us I do feel like we are the first people on the planet to spot the difference in dialogue between those two robots on the ship.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
true.
Fucking insane.
That was my mind blew there.
We've broken new ground with this arc. And yeah, those are some good comments. Thank you for leaving those. We appreciate them. Issue 30. One question, because we only needed one for this one. What was that question, Noah?
What's a way someone has inspired you to be a better person?
Oof.
Yeah. So Jennifer said, my daughter's first grade teacher solved almost every human problem by listening with love, patience, and quiet kindness. That's all it takes in almost every situation. I'm a mom and tutor, not a politician, but I think it still applies. And I love that sentiment. I think good teachers are really just an incredible kind of human being. I've had so many teachers that inspired so much from me.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, for me, largely it's been, like, characters and media and stuff. But, like, that, yeah, now that I think of it, it is teachers by a wide fucking margin.
Yeah.
Of, like, real-life people who have made me want to be a better person. So, yeah, I'm glad that someone brought that up. Speaking of characters and media, though, Thunderwolf says Captain America inspires me, which is yeah, I honestly think that is, like, I don't know, there's part of me who's like oh, come on, you can't, like, I immediately think of if that was tweeted. All of the responses of like how about a real person or something, but like that is why we have moral people in media. And like,
yeah,
I cannot tell you how much of my morality is based on like fucking Rick Blaine from Casablanca and Yoda and like no one else. Like that is so much of it. So thank you for representing that part of the spectrum.
And then on the other side of that, in the real world, Dallas Taylor says his dad.
He's not real?
Oh,
okay.
My dad is a really no-nonsense man of few words, cowboy type. So mostly I learned from watching his quiet example of consistently serving and lifting up others in our community. That's a really nice sentiment.
Yeah.
Quiet. There's a lot to be said for. I mean, there's a lot to be said, and I'll say lots and lots about how great it is for strong, silent people.
I mean, I've always considered myself a cowboy type, personally.
Yeah, I'm a strong, silent, stoic cowboy. I keep my emotions inside, and I only talk when I need to.
The joke is that you actually fucking suck and you're loud.
Yeah, that's the joke. You got it.
That's a good one. I enjoy that. I love James Smells 123. Says
great name.
It's a very good name. My wife inspires me. I finished university because of her, got my first proper job post-study, and got out of that trash job into one that actually challenges me and makes me want to improve. Which is really that's
awesome.
Haley is honestly one of my biggest inspirations. Mostly because like,
Emma's a huge inspiration for me too.
Yeah, especially like Haley just like gets shit done and is like so fucking confident and just like I don't understand it. I don't know how a person could be that way. She inspires me in that I was like, this exists somehow, and why was I not born with this? But yeah, no, wives are cool, husbands are cool, spouses are cool, partners are cool.
Partners of all variety are cool.
Yeah, my favorite partner is a cowboy type.
Yarp, Partner, Howdy.
Was Yarp your cowboy voice?
Yeah, Yarp. That's what cowboys say.
Partner, Howdy. That's 100% the name of this episode. Oh, jeez. That's good shit.
Odd Amy wrote a little vignette of a story. Should we read the whole thing?
Go for it.
Okay. I'd heard about small acts of kindness, but never seen one firsthand until my freshman year of college. It involved a woman, a jacket, and a bus station. It was cold and late. The station bustled, as stations tend to, and I sat on the bench waiting for my bus in a flimsy Idaho State Theater sweatshirt that was getting a bit small on me. I'd pulled my hands into the cuffs, thrown up and tightened my hood, and curled in on myself to ward off the cold. The cold had other plans. Looking back, I must have been quite the sight. Everyone around me in puffy coats and shivering in my not weather-appropriate boots, but I didn't really think about it. I thought about how ridiculous I would look if I tried to wrap my hair around my face like a bandana. I figured, and I doubted it would help thaw out my nose. And out of nowhere, this woman comes up to me and hands me her jacket. Just hands me her jacket. Just like that. I remember her assuring me that it was clean and warm since she'd been wearing it. She wouldn't let me refuse. She walked away and I pulled the jacket on. It was thin and brown and frankly not much of an improvement, but never in my life had a stranger been so kind to me, so thoughtful. I like to think I notice people more and try to help them because of this woman, because I want someone else to see that small acts of kindness really do exist.
That's so nice.
That's really nice. That's really nice.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I have one thing that I want to end on with someone that's inspiring me right now. Is just everybody uniting right now, and I'm so inspired by people going out there risking their lives, risking their eyes, risking their careers, just putting everything on the line to go out and take to the streets against a world order that is severely fucked. And I'm so inspired by everyone going out there trying to make change, and it's inspired me to try to gear my platform more towards that and to try to do everything that I can to help. And people doing what they can, people who can't march, raising donations. The bail fund has gotten so many donations that they're trying to send people to other like other charities and other sources now, which is incredible. We're already starting to see reform. I mean, we still have a long way to go, but it is really, really, as someone who, I mean, I grew up and I was one of those annoying kids who like thought I was born in the wrong generation and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm a music guy. I loved looking at all of the like revolutionary political action that happened in the 60s, and it's so cool and so inspiring to see everyone doing that again, and to see everyone putting themselves on the line for their communities and for people they don't even know, to make the world a better place.
100%. Yeah, no, that's great. And also just a big shout out to all the people that inspired those people to do that, and
yes.
You know, the real life Luke Skywalkers, and look at, you know, Malcolm X, and look at Martin Luther King, and look at even, you know, Rosa Parks, and anyone who's you know, did not survive to get to the point to see how much of an influence they've had. But
and I think what's really cool is the people that did survive too, like Angela Davis.
Yes, yeah.
Went to a protest the other day. Like Angela Davis could sit like deified in academia, but she goes down and at 76 years old goes down and goes on the ground with COVID around, because like that's how change is made. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
So fucking cool. So yeah, I'm happy to see that people are starting to realize who has the power, which is fucking rad. That's really exciting. And I'm sure it will influence greatly future readings of Saga for us.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
because it's happening. It's happening in real life.
We're in a new world.
It's still not sextillion though, so we have failed.
We're working. Yeah. I would not say sextillion is the goal.
No, that's it.
Given
are you saying there's something? Are you telling me there's something problematic about sextillion?
I mean,
have I been misled here?
I'm all for sex work. I'm all for sex work. But I'm all for consensual sex work.
Look, this is this is fucking crazy times. It was interesting to see the evolution of answers and the evolution of questions.
Yeah.
but we did it. We made it. And actually, you know what? Next week we're gonna do something pretty cool, which is we're gonna look at a comic from a Black creator and talk about it. Because we talk exclusively about Saga.
Do we know what that is yet?
I will send you, because I've pretty much got it narrowed down to 3, because that was the tricky thing. We really wanted to make sure it was a contemporary creator. We wanted to make sure it was someone who is doing comics full time, so that they are given a bit more of a boost from this platform. And also we will say on the Twitter once we pin one down.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
we'll definitely post that on the Twitter. We'll get it figured out before this episode goes live, and that'll be on the Twitter, that'll be in the description, all that stuff. And please, we'll buy the book.
Yeah,
buy the book and read it with us for sure. Or if you listen to it and like it, buy the book.
What's the comic site that you always suggest buying online from?
Well, there's like just a comic books near me sort of.
Yeah.
You can just Google like, because there are so many comic shops that ship internationally.
Yeah.
And just make sure you're buying from any comic shop. A lot of comic shops are doing pickup, where contactless pickup.
Curbside pickup. Yeah.
So
buy from a comic shop, ideally an independent one.
Amazon.
Please don't buy from Amazon. Yeah, and if you can, buy from a Black-owned comic shop. There's a lot of most in most cities now. It's pretty easy to find resource pages that tell you about Black-owned businesses. So that's I mean, So yeah, keep an eye out on Twitter for that. Buy local. Even if the shipping is delayed, please just don't do Amazon to do next day shipping because you want to read along as soon as the episode comes out. The episode won't go anywhere. The episode is going to sit there. It can wait for a few more days of shipping.
This is our legacy. This podcast.
This is
this is our Luke Skywalker sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's this podcast. And the kids will tell our stories.
Something like that.
The kids will be acting out Yarp Pardner cowboy.
Yarp Pardner cowboy. All right.
Well, we did it.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. And if you wanna find me on socials, you can find me by donating to your local chapter of Black Lives Matter or an Indigenous charity. Those are really important as well, especially if you're in somewhere like Canada or Australia or something like that.
Yes. Post America, where they have been treated fantastically. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Do your research. Jesus.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, no, that's it. I've got a new video out. I actually have a new video out. It's telling you to go donate. So listen to the video.
Yeah.
Go donate. And yeah, thank you to Fiona Staples, Brian K. Vaughan, Phonographics and Image Comics for making this comic that we can fucking have this weird, great community spread up around and ask all these weird fucking questions. It's the best. I love it. And as always, Noah, how are we exiting this stage left?
I'm not actually gonna do the am I shitting? I'm gonna exit on a Black Lives Matter.
You cut out as you said it, and so,
really?
So it was like really powerful. Like you actually exited on it. I second that. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.
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 Bye. I cannot stress enough. I love Butt Semen. It's the best. It's so good.
Yeah, that's really, really compelling. I like to make a poop. I think we both agree who doesn't want to kiss poop.
We've done that consistently. It's fucking very underrated. I really like Butt Semen. I'm digging it.
My theory on this is that it's actually poop. Oh my god, what a beautiful, perfect poop. I love poop most thoroughly.
Thank you, Haley.